Oscar's performance on the CBC of Canadiana Suite shook perceptions of what Canadian jazz could be. By the 1970s, another performer's career sparked a profound shift
How you doing?
that was about more than music.
He gave no inkling at that point that he would become the outrageous Craig Russell.
Russell was a female impressionist from Toronto's suburbs.
Because I think people look prettier when they dress up a little bit, you know?
His appearance on the national stage was groundbreaking. It helped bring queer culture into the mainstream.
Now, a special friend of ours here is Craig Russell to sing for you a tribute to the year 1978 as the fabulous Miss Peggy Lee.
I remember when I was just a little girl, our house caught on fire. I'll never forget the look on my father's face as he gathered me up. And we raced through a burning building out onto the pavement outside. And as I stood there shivering in my bra and my jockstrap, I had the feeling that the whole world was going up in flames. And I said to myself, is that all there is? Is that all there is? If that's all there is, my friends, then let's keep dancing. Break out the booze and have a ball. If that's all
Craig was a great performer, enormously talented, and that is the secret weapon that queer people have. I mean, I think that gay men, just like women, they realize at a certain point that in order to get anywhere in what they're doing, they have to be 100 times better than anybody, and than any straight man, right? And I think that that's exactly the thing about Craig, was that Craig had to be better than any woman, any other female impersonator, anybody. He had just to be fabulous, right? In other words, he had to be as good or better than Carol Channing. In other words, if he was going to do Carol Channing, he couldn't just be a second-rate version of Carol Channing. He had to be as talented as Carol Channing, which he was.
Peggy Lee is so out of her mind. Oh, she's crazy.
Peggy's got nothing to say about Peggy.
Oh. You're crazy. Crazy Peggy.
Listen, Craig Russell, what kind of a year was it for you? Great, yes, sensational.
It was a good year because I tried to shake a lot of people up, you know?
And you did.
In the CBC and everything, but because I think people look prettier when they dress up a little bit, you know?
I'm just a little girl. Just a little girl from Richmond Hill.
Will I have more fun now?
Yeah, sure, until the cops arrive.
To be gay or lesbian in the 1960s in Toronto, I think, was exciting and alluring.
It's so crowded, there's lots of action, and it's just fantastic. It's really great.
People were excited to go out and gather and participate. But at the same time, there were people, many with quite reason, to be afraid.
It bothers me, and I'm not queer. Let's put it that way, all right?
Well, so what? I'm here to look at you, looking at other people. That's what I'm doing. Because I'm trying to understand it, but I don't.
You have to remember, up till about the mid-60s, it was illegal for a man to dress up as a woman. It was dangerous to actually overtly perform as a drag artist because the club could get raided and you could get arrested. And there were, too many horrible stories about drag queens being taken out by the police to Cherry Beach and beaten up.
It was, get this situation out of sight, out of mind.
And police didn't really have to do it. The yahoos on Yonge Street would be happy to oblige, too. The yahoos would come out and pelt the queens going in with eggs.
I think what we're really here to point out is that we live in a fairly sick society, a society that's controlled at a very, very deep and profound level. And that's control is that if you're a male, you play this role and dress this way. If you're a female, you play this role and you dress this way. And don't ever cross those boundaries. I think all the homosexuals here tonight fully embrace the drag queens that are here.
I think part of the allure of drag is that it's confident. I can be Fred in my day, not be confident, hide, not be outgoing, and then I can put on a dress and I can be Francesca, and I can be as confident as I am deep down inside.
You're watching a man preparing to become a woman for a night. He's Craig Russell, a Toronto female impersonator who is hot, as they say in show business.
Lucille Ball, here I come.
Hello. Hey, Mr. Mooney. Uh-oh.
In 1969, I was doing a show called Charade at the theater in the Dell, and it was a drag show. We noticed there was a young man who seemed to come quite often, very quietly, and he had a notebook. And then eventually he introduced himself to us, and it was Craig Russell, better known as Craig Russell. He told us at the time that he was a hairdresser, which excited all the drag performers, only because they're always on the lookout for hairdressers for their wigs. And subsequently, he also fascinated us when he said he had been Mae West's secretary. So he was thinking seriously about doing drag. He gave no inkling at that point that he would become the outrageous Craig Russell.
Hello, you little dolls. You know, tonight I'm going to do a medley of my greatest hit.
Where was the one place that he could go and dress up was in the gay community, and on the stages of clubs like the August Club, the 511, the Manatee.
2 years later, at the Manatee, Craig presented himself and said he would like to do a show there. I directed him. He was hugely talented, because at that time, his main vocal was Tallulah Bankhead.
His talent exceeded any premonitions of how people felt about a flamboyant man performing in drag, because his talent is what mattered, and that drew people to him.
He eventually started to perform in what we call the gay circuit, which would be Provincetown, San Francisco, etc.
Provincetown is lauded for garnering the best entertainers in the world. And eventually that bridged him from being in gay clubs to the mainstream.
I'd rather dress up.
I'd rather dress up.
That's all there is, my friend. Spin love your mother. Bring on the good. And the wrong. 'Cause that's all there
After the shows, people said very kind things to Craig about how he became a beacon of hope for doing his show, and for doing it in a way that he could cross the line with audiences in a way that they couldn't cross the line. And sometimes they could bring a parent or a sibling or a friend to a Craig Russell show. People who poured out their hearts and souls to Craig, who had never been able to share with anybody who would be non-judgmental and treated empathetically, but lighthearted in a certain way.
I never got the sense that he was looking to be any sort of pioneer in presenting or meshing the gay community to the straight community. I think what he was trying to do is be the best he could be in what he was doing, and that he could get all the audiences to come and see him.
And the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me.
I believe Craig advanced our social conscience. He was out there being as outrageous as he possibly could in an era where people were better to blend in. That in itself is pretty legendary.
Craig Russell was an enormously brave hero. He was way ahead of his time in the sense that he was willing to accept himself and put all of that stuff out there that people found so shocking and so weird at that time. But unfortunately, society has never caught up with Craig Russell. So what people seem to like to think of is, oh, well, Craig did that, then the problem was solved, and now everybody accepts it, and there's RuPaul on TV, and so everybody is fine. And it's just not quite like that. It takes a longer time to change the hearts of human beings.
If happy little bluebirds fly beyond